Good morning, everyone, and I'm very excited to be with you this morning. We are standing here at HoChiMinh Complex, and I will guide you through this complex. So, this complex consists of five main parts. The first is Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum, you can see over there, and the second is Batting Square, we're standing here. And the next one is Presidential Palace and Ho Chi Minh's residence. The fourth is one pillar pagoda, and the final is the Ho Chi Minh Museum. So first, let me introduce you a little bit, a brief information about Ho Chi Minh's life. He was born in 1890 in a province in the center of Vietnam, and he was born in a patriotic family, and at that time Vietnam was under French rule, and there were a lot of uprising against the French at that time, but most of them, all of them were suppressed and failed. So Vietnam was in ultimate need of finding a way to rescue the people, rescue the country. And in 1911, a young man, his name Nguyễn Ái Quốc, his name when he was young was Nguyễn Ái Quốc, went abroad on a ship to France with the hope that he could find a way to rescue his people, rescue his country. And he went to many other countries in the world, like America, England, Russia, China, and finally he found his way. And in 1941 he came back to Vietnam and prepared people for revolution. And in 1945 he led the revolution to a big victory and gained our independence again. Gained our independence. And he read the Independence Declaration here in 1945 at Batting Square. So he dedicated his entire life to the country, to the revolution, and he passed away in 1969. In his will, he wished to have his body cremated and his ash to be buried in the North, Central, and South Vietnam. Yet, in honor of his dedication and contribution to the country, and for the love of Vietnamese people for him, the successor government decided to keep his body and build a mausoleum for him. So the mausoleum started to be built in 1973 and was completed in 1975. It features a 3-story structure, and his body is on the 2nd story. You can see on top face of the mausoleum his popular quotes, meaning nothing is more important, nothing is more precious than independence and freedom. And you can also see 79 secretaries which symbolizes his 79 springs of life. And of course, Baring Square here is a historical site where President Ho Chi Minh read the Independent Declaration of Vietnam in 1945, and it was once the western gate of the ancient Hanoi Citadel. The French destroyed to build a flower garden and name it a French name, but in 1945 it was renamed Baring to commemorate the uprising against the French colonialists in Baring, Thanh Hóa province. So Baring Square is a meaningful place for Hanoians and for the whole nation's people. And next, we're heading the Presidential Palace and Ho Chi Minh's residence. So the palace was built from 1901 to 1906 by French as a palace for General Indochina governor. In 1945, it was took place by Vietnamese government to house the president, yet he refused and lived in a still house nearby, and it has been used as a place for high-ranking level diplomatic meetings. And now we are walking to the Ho Chi Minh's residence. He lived here from 1958 until he passed away. It's a very small and simple still house, surrounded with natural-oriented environmental with trees, fruit trees, and a fish pond. It has 2 floors. Ground floor is the meeting place with a large table and chairs. Upstairs, we can see his bedroom, study room with a bookshelf in between. Some of his belongings still there, like a typewriter on the bookshelf, a small blanket, a rush mat, a palm leaf fan, a bottle of water, and some books on the table. His stuff and his house show us that he lived a very simple life. Yeah. Okay, now we are heading to One Pillar Pagoda, one of the most unique and famous pagodas in Vietnam. It was built in 1949 by Lý Thái Tông, and it was restored and rebuilt in the 19th century. But in 1945, it was dynamited by the French and were restored in 1955 based on the architectural style left by the French dynasty. There is a legend about this One Pillar Pagoda. It has it that King Lý Thái Tông had no children, and he dreamt that the Quan Âm Bồ Tát handed him a baby boy while sitting on a lotus flower. So soon after that, the king married a peasant girl and had a son. And to say thank you, he built this pagoda to look exactly like a lotus flower blossoming out of the water. And the last point of the complex is Ho Chi Minh Museum. It was built. It started to build in 1985 and was completed in 1990 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Ho Chi Minh's birth. It was constructed in the shape of a white lotus with 5 petals. Now we're standing at the Grand Hall. You can see there he is standing and waving at us like he was greeting us. Welcome to the Vietnam, welcome here. And a banyan tree behind him with multiple trunks represents the banyan tree with multiple trunks represents and symbolizes strong longevity and wise solidity, and rectangular village gates represent the ground, and the sun represents his thoughts. It's the harmony of yin and yang. He can also see the harmony of yin and yang with the ceiling and the floor. On the ceiling, you can see a laurel wealth with rice petal, symbolizes victory and source of life. And circle represents yang, and floor with a rectangular represents yin, and that's the harmony of yin and yang. And there are some specific exhibitions in this museum with 3 main contents. The first is about Ho Chi Minh's life and revolutionary course and Vietnamese people's implementations of the President's Testament. The second is on the Vietnamese people's life, struggle and victory under leadership of President Ho Chi Minh against French and American. The last one is on the world's history with major events since the late 19th century, and that's some information about HoChiMinh Complex. Thank you for your attention.